I guess I'll keep thinking about it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
You believe that God exists because you exist, right? Because the world exists.
No.
The universe itself. That's your evidence?
No, I believe that God exists because order and design exist,
Complex.
demanding an intelligent mind. I believe that God exists because I have a conscience that informs me of moral absolutes. There's got to be a moral lawgiver. I believe that God exists because the Big Bang tells us there's a beginning to the universe. Everything that has a beginning has a cause. The universe has a beginning, therefore the universe has a cause. That's the type of evidence that convinces me God exists.
So why doesn't there have to be a cause for God itself?
Good question. Because God doesn't have a beginning.
He has no beginning or end, right?
Exactly. And it used to be thought that the universe was eternal. But the Big Bang shows us, no, the universe is not eternal.
Well, the Big Bang doesn't necessarily tell us that the universe isn't eternal.
Absolutely, yes. At this point,
Because there could be, technically multiple universes.
no, that's not what the evidence points to. It's not the... No, maybe if the evidence comes up tomorrow or tonight that that's true, fine. But at this point, the evidence is, before the Big Bang, there was nothing. That could change tomorrow, I know that. But today, the evidence is, before the Big Bang, there was nothing.
So, it still comes down to, you're saying that God has always existed. And then you throw the entire reasoning out the window in God's case. I don't know how you can do that.
So what out the window?
You throw all your reasoning out the window. You say, all of this is way too complex.
No.
It has to be this way. And God has to exist in order to explain this.
That's not what I'm saying.
Existence has to be explained by some supernatural being that exists outside the natural known laws of the universe. It's the way it appears to me.
I found it on the way to school. Incredible. The way the metal just sort of came together. Isn't it amazing the way the glass just sort of fit into place? And the extra pieces of metal just sort of fell off. If you thought I believed that, you'd be hightailing it out of here as fast as you could. So if you're an idiot. Why? Order and design demand an intelligent mind.
Evolution itself doesn't necessarily mean there's no order there. It's natural selection. There's reasoning behind it. There's logic there. It doesn't say God just randomly created a human being. My postulation to you is maybe there is a God, maybe there's not, but I think it's completely pointless to think you can possibly know God, because it's supernatural. It would exist. It'd be something beyond anything comprehensible. So anybody that says they, know God is just full, in my opinion. If God
Why
exists,
on earth would you conclude that anybody who says they know God is fooling themselves?
They're not fooling themselves. You can't possibly understand God if it exists, because it would be supernatural.
Yeah, but isn't it possible that a supernatural God could choose to reveal himself?
It's never revealed himself to me, and I think for the most part, people that claim God has revealed themselves to them are just... Why would God just suddenly reveal himself to you and not me?
Well, obviously the claim of Jesus that he is God revealing himself to you. So read the Gospels for yourself. Don't take it from me.
I've read the Gospels.
Well, what do you think about Jesus after reading the Gospels?
I like Jesus. I think he has very great ideas. No different than the ideas that Buddha has, or that many other philosophers have.
You've read the Gospels and you've concluded that Jesus didn't claim anything different from Buddha?
No. Jesus claimed apparently that he was God. That God.
Good. God in human form.
Mary or whatever, just randomly she was a virgin. I don't believe that that's true. I don't believe
why?
Why don't I believe that?
Yeah.
Why do you believe it?
Why do I believe that? Because I begin philosophically with the presupposition that there's a God, a supernatural God. And therefore, if there is a supernatural God, this God who created the natural laws can change a natural law, perform what you and I call a miracle. And a virgin can conceive and give birth to a child.
But you believe that based on faith. There's no reason for it.
No, there's lots of reason that I believe that God exists.
What's the logical reason?
Order and design point me to an intelligent mind. The beginning of the universe points me to a cause. Moral absolutes point me to a moral lawgiver.
But still, you said God exists, correct?
Yeah, that's evidence that God exists.
But why do you suddenly throw everything out the window when it comes to God himself? Why do you say there's no reason for God to exist, God just always existed? That just doesn't make sense to me.
Because that's what... It's real simple.
You believe that based on faith.
The universe is not eternal. The universe has a beginning. Therefore, the universe has to have a cause. The most plausible explanation is there's an eternal being, an uncaused cause, who causes the universe. That's God.
There's science. Modern scientific understanding doesn't say that the universe had a beginning.